The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. Yeah, y'all, that's him. That's that dude, Hugh. He's so busy looking at stuff, he ain't even got time to answer the screen, man.
What's going on? My bad, man. My
I was running a
bad.
little behind, bruh. I want you to
My
start it
bad,
off. You want
man.
to pay no attention, but we here now, though. What's going on, y'all? E-Buck in the building. Yo, dude, Hugh Lee. This is Gametime Audible. We here to talk some sports, but we busy people. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on, so we want to get right into it today, y'all. No mess, no mess. Let everybody know we on. Hugh gonna start us off. What we talking about today, Hugh?
Yeah, man. First, before we even really get into that, man, it took everything I had, man, to do a show today, man. A lot of the
You
stuff
and me both.
going on, man, in this evil world, man. And I'm just,
Amen,
you
brother.
know, what happened over here in Texas, man. Just, sending prayers, my thoughts and prayers to the family and the people if who had to embrace and was affected by that, man. Just keeping y'all all in prayers.
Y'all already know I've expressed some of my feelings earlier in the week on the show. Thanks for all of y'all that not only tuned in on Tuesday, but have called to check on me. Y'all know I don't process these things well these days. I can't help but care when it comes to certain things. I feel like you're not human if you didn't care about that, and you don't care about that. But we'll discuss that on other scenarios. This is here for sports and allergies. We're
And we
gonna
just basically,
have a discussion on that
my
today.
bad.
You said what now?
Yeah, because man, that's what we want to do most times. That's
Yes.
all we want to do is whatever's going on in this world, we just want to, kind of try to get y'all away from that, distract y'all for a minute, man, just with, our sports, man, and just try to keep y'all entertained with the news and the things that we see going around in the sports world.
Yeah, but that being said, Hugh, I know you might have had it planned different, but since we on the subject, you and I are not the only two people that have great concerns about these types of things going on. Fortunately, we have this platform that we can use to discuss it, but somebody with a much larger platform chose that time to do just that. And I want to basically thank that dude for doing that, and I know he wants to talk about it.
Yeah, man, definitely was happy for him, man, and that was a blessing, man, because by him being with one of the great coaches of all time, Greg Popovich, man. I think that's where he got a lot of his, just his energy from and not afraid to speak his opinion. And what Steve Kerr talked about the, incident in Texas, man, I was proud of him, man, because he talked about many issues before in the past and he used his platform to basically let his word and let his voice be known. And you couldn't be more happier for him, man. And it was a
I mean,
blessing.
bottom line is we could say a lot about it, but I think it's better if you heard him speak for himself on this one. So we got the tape. Y'all check this out.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm sorry. I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this, to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, you know. Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check? 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
Well said, Steve. Well said. I'm in complete and total agreement. I too have had enough. And keep in mind, that was from a couple days ago. Today on the Senate floor, they wanted to bring up the topic yet again. Couldn't even bring it up for a discussion. Couldn't even get enough people to even want to talk about it. Primarily the Republicans. Again, as I've said, at this point, I'm pretty much independent either way it go, but it do seem like to me most of the stuff that we the people want seem to be the stuff the Republicans don't even want to touch.
I don't even want to talk about it. They just scrap it, ball it up, throw it to the side, and act like it don't exist.
November 2nd coming, y'all. A lot of them people up for re-election. I'm just saying. Y'all want more of the same? Keep voting them back in. Okay, back to the sports, Hugh.
All right, man.
Let me say one more thing. Part of Steve's anger does come from the fact, if you know his past history, that his father was a professor at one of the universities over in the Middle East, and he was killed in a violent act, an actual school shooting. So that's part of what fueled some of that anger with him also. So you got to have that in mind. And keep in mind, one thing that he did say beyond the press conference was he felt like they shouldn't have played that game that night. I completely agree with him. They shouldn't have.
No, actually, it shouldn't have been no games on, period. I just don't understand why they just continue to go on with everything. And that's what pissed me off, because it seems like NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, no matter what it is nowadays, they'll, have a moment of silence, for a second, and then they'll play like nothing ever happened, man. They need to do more of an impactful. They have to have more meaning than that. Just because I understand that it's something, it's your job, and it's what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, you just got to have some type of humanity and just say enough is enough. And all of them should have just sat out. And for that cause, I mean, I know they'll play again eventually.
Hey, it's happened before. I take you back to the whole George Floyd situation, where the NBA and the WNBA said, look, we're not playing tonight, period.
Yep. Even Kenny Smith was like, man, I got to follow suit with the guys, man. I'm a leader for one of those guys, and I'm a mentor to a lot of them. and I can't be here and to do a job in a situation like this. And he said, sorry, Ernie and Shaq and, Charles, but he left off of the stage, and didn't want to focus on the game. He wanted to focus on, proving a point. And I don't think that's going to get done until it get done. And unfortunately, the world is divided, and we need to do better as
and not so much the world, Hugh, just America. We
Yeah.
the ones. I mean, in other countries, they clowning us right now. We supposed to be so big and bad and bold and all the money, but we seem to be some of the dumbest people out here when it comes to certain stuff.
Biggest clowns, man. The spotlight on us, and they don't look too good,
Not at all. But okay, for real though. Now we back to the sports.
We about to briefly touch on baseball, man, and I know we talked about this just recently, and I don't know if you got that sketch or not, but I wasn't really. I was a little bit confused at first what was going on with, about to say the New York Yankees and the White Sox game. I noticed when Tim Anderson got out that game, I heard Josh Donaldson say something, didn't know what it was, and it really pissed him off. He charged after him. Grandal, the catcher, got into it with him. The benches cleared, and Tommy La Russa got in his face. And I said, man, what is going on? What happened and what made him so angry? But when I heard what happened, at first I didn't think much of it, and it was because when they were playing, he went to first base. And if you're out, even if you're out, they still tag the first base, just normal routine. And he was like, how's everything going for you now, Jackie? And he called him Jackie because Tim Anderson mentioned before that he was the Jackie Robinson of baseball as it is right now because he's changing the way the game is played and making them change the rules on how the game is played. So when he mentioned him and called him Jackie, I said, okay, you mentioned that you was Jackie Robinson. So why is the anger behind it now? Why are you so mad in this situation when he only just called you what you said you were?
Now, that's your understanding of the story?
That's what I said when I first heard it. Come on now. I got some more to say about that. I just want to hear your take. And then, because I found out a little bit more on it.
Well, see, there is more to that story. What happens is this all started years back.
Remember, in Minnesota.
Right. At one point, he was in Minnesota, there, Chicago. And this is not the first time the Jackie comment was made. And the first time when it was made, and of course, Donaldson explained to him why he made it. He told him that he felt it was offensive because it wasn't so much that he said it.
The way he said it.
It was the way he said it. You know when somebody tells you something and they say it in a derogatory way as opposed to being joking. It'd be like, well, that's what he said, Jackie. No, dude was like, yeah, Jackie. That comes off different. You see what I'm saying? But when you done told the man, I didn't find that funny, don't do that. But then you turn around and do it again years later, that indicates to me you meant to disrespect me that time. That is part of the problem. And then, of course, the 1 game suspension, that was bull. That was a waste of everybody.
I thought that was a little too over. I thought that was overboard. Ian, like you said, man, when I found out, because at first I looked at it, remember we talked about it, man, and I'm big ups to more people interacting. And these were even guys that I'm not even talking about like me and you. It was guys that we didn't even know who jumped in the conversation and thought that he was just being a diva or whatnot. But we had to find out and we had to do a little bit more digging. And that's exactly what happened. He called him Jackie in a way he felt like it came off. He felt offended. And he told him, I didn't like that, man. Don't do that. And when it happened before, he was in Minnesota, and then made it a little bit more chippier because they were rivals at the time because he was in the same division as Tim Anderson. And he didn't say it anymore. And he thought that was out of respect. And then that's when he went about and said it again. And it was like, man, it got really chippy. And I love it.
Like I said, we black people. You understand why Tim felt that way. As you told that man to say that because you felt he was derogatory. He might as well call him the N-word.
Pretty much.
That's how it came off to him. And if you can't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, to be honest with you, I thought he did call him one at first because the way I said, dang, what? Tony the Roofer, man, he never, really get chippy like that. So I thought that definitely happened at first. But then, saying Jackie kind of was like in a way where he might as well said that word instead. But yeah, it just got to the point where I just looked at that and like I'm a huge Yankees fan, but I definitely was cheering against them after that, man, because I felt like
I mean, bottom line is Tim will get a little bit more interest. I mean, as he should. He is actually one of the better players in baseball, as I mentioned to you the other day. But basically now, if anything, Donaldson done put a bad mark on him. That racist mark, that's a hard one to get off you these days.
Yeah, that definitely don't suit well, man. And I've always enjoyed Josh Donaldson and the way he played the game, but you really see the truth about some people, man, when it comes to situations like that. And it was just unfortunate. And it definitely don't help you with the Yankees, too. And the Yankees was probably one of the most racist organizations there is, coming up in the big leagues.
That being said, you done put yourself at odds with most of the league now, not to mention some of your teammates, because Aaron Judge spoke out on it and he wasn't too happy either. And all I know is I remember seeing that dude in person last month. I don't want that big dude mad at me.
Man, I need to show you a picture of this dude, man, when he was drinking the bottled waters that we drank that other day when we was at the game. It looked like a little sample size water to him, man. That's a big dude, man. He's about 7 feet though, man. So
he's about 6'8", 6'9", yeah.
A lot of stuff gonna look little to him, man. But we gonna stay on that too. We're gonna stay with the Yankees, man. We always talk about this, and this is before this happened. And they're doing so well. Then Giancarlo Stanton goes on the IL with the sore ankle. I want to know, in your opinion, after the trade with Jeter went over there to Miami, do you think that now that because Miami's a really exciting team, a nice, young, exciting team right now, but all the pieces that they got in that collateral. Do you think it's worth keeping Giancarlo Stanton, man? I mean, if he's just only hurt for a second.
It's not even a it's not even a Stanton thing. It's a big contract thing.
That's exactly
all the big contracts that we've seen the last 10 years. Miggy. How many times has Miggy been hurt? He don't one person on the Tigers that ain't been hurt this year, amazingly enough. Seem like the damn Tigers is Glass Joe all through the lineup. Hell, even Verlander, the big contract, he done been hurt. Mike Trout, we already know that situation.
He was Iron Man before that.
Huh?
And that's what surprised me.
Right. I mean, with the exception of maybe that dude in Philadelphia, pretty much anybody that signed a major contract like that.
Bryce Harper and
hell, let's not even talk about Clayton Kershaw. Ever since he signed this big deal, it's like what year he haven't been hurt.
And you know what's funny, E? This is something that's big facts right here. Another player who hasn't been injured, who had a major contract, but it don't even seem like he's been major. He's been kind of on a milk carton as of late. Manny Machado.
Yeah, ain't heard much about that dude or Tatis Jr. for that matter.
I just so happened to look up like, damn, Manny Machado still on the Padres?
I mean, granted, they still playing better. I mean, they playing a lot better than the damn Tigers right now. And I know we wasn't necessarily going to address this, but as a Tigers fan, I got to go here. Is it time to start over again? It's starting to look that way.
Yeah, because I didn't like the fact that Alex Avila was going to do the whole, sweep thing or just clean up everything at first. But yeah, they have to. I think they definitely have to just clean up house, man, and just get it, just, dig it from the ground up and let the young guys.
The whole let's tank and start over. That didn't work for one team that I can see, and that was the Astros. Pretty much any other team that had tried that, it ain't worked out as good.
You know what, too? I say this team semi had that type of opportunity too as well, or they did like similar, but they still kept a couple of veterans here and there on their team with the Kansas City Royals at that time.
True.
But not like it'll never be in history again like the Astros. They blew that thing up. Not only did they blow it up, they went to a different division.
Yeah, it went to a whole different league. Exactly. And
so
the sad part is Yeah, like I said, it's some good teams in baseball right now, but then again, there's some real bad teams, and unfortunately, my
And
team.
we won. Yeah, man. Speaking of, we're gonna kind of stay on that Yankees thing, man. I want to know, is Giancarlo Stanton injury worse than what they're putting on right now? Because I didn't think of nothing much of it, thinking he was gonna be back soon. But then when I looked up, I just seen that the Yankees signed veteran outfielder Matt Carpenter that used to play for the St. Louis Cardinals. That's why I'm pretty much familiar with him. And I said,
Insurance
whoa.
policy. That's all that is. They didn't seen this play out too many times before. We got Chapman hurt right now. We got him hurt. So, they got plenty of backup in the bullpen. No problem there. They got one of the better bullpens in baseball. But that
Yeah.
outfield, that's some shaky grind. Usually they have a couple extra. Not so much this year. So Matt Carpenter, he fits the mold. If he comes in and he hits, that's bonus. If he just come in and play a decent outfield till one of them get back together, because you got to figure if Stanton got hurt and come back, probably only matter of time for the big fella to get hurt again too. So
that's what I'm scared of. And I really been keeping my fingers crossed on that. I'm like,
right,
man, I hope
because like I
Judge
said,
stay.
it's a contract season for him, and you sure the hell been playing like it.
You ain't lying, man. And them two healthy in the lineup, man, which we never really get. That's what made them so dangerous this year. And the pitching been outstanding, man. It was just really fun to watch. And we don't know, man. I guess
And
we'll
don't
see.
forget LeMahieu and Rizzo. You put them four together in the lineup, and you pretty much connect the
Yeah,
dots for everybody else. You got
that
some things,
DJ
especially
LeMahieu,
in
the
that
way he,
bandbox of a ballpark.
man, I want to jump on something, because when I saw it myself, I said, man, this is huge, man. And surprisingly enough, it's tennis. Damn, man, Rafael Nadal, man, 300 career Grand Slams.
Well, see, it sounds impressive, and don't get me wrong, it kind of is, but you got to look at how he did it as opposed to some of his counterparts. Now, keep in mind, Nadal has done that, and of course, Federer has done that, and I believe Joker's pretty close to doing that himself. Remember, these are the three tennis players that have won the most tournaments on the men's side all time. They at least have won 20 Grand Slams apiece. Now, that being said, all Grand Slams aren't created equally. When we talk about Nadal, primarily the majority of all his Grand Slams have been on the clay courts, where we know he is extremely dominant. Out of those 19, I believe, titles he had, 11 of his is at Roland Garros. So a lot of those wins on Grand Slams is on the clay. A good
What I
2/3 of them. So,
what I
like I said,
respect,
granted, that's still over a decade plus of dominance. So it's still nothing to, scoff at. But as opposed to his counterparts, particularly the Joker, who basically when he owned anywhere.
yeah,
It makes it a little bit more impressive on his part.
because a lot of people wouldn't like if they're tennis fans to hear what I'm about to say, man. But it seemed like Nadal on his way out, man, because his injuries been piling up.
Well, you got to realize Nadal is he one of them rare unicorns. Most people his age not playing professional tennis anymore. A lot of the greats, the Boris Beckers, the McEnroes, all of them, they have pretty much shut it down. It's the rare people that are the Djokovic and then the Federers and the Nadals and the like that play into their middle and late 30s. That don't hardly happen, especially in this day and age of people hitting 160, 170 mile an hour serves. For you not only to be still playing, but still on a championship level, that's the more impressive part about it. And remember, some of them 300 wins did come against two of the best tennis players on earth right now.
Yeah. I hate Nadal, man, at one point, because every time I looked up, he was beating some guys, so I wanted to win. But
Well, I kind of got a little soft spot for Nadal because, of course, he a lefty like myself. So,
but I had to give him respect. Most times when you dislike people, man, it's out of love and respect as them as players, man. Because I know for many years I've hated players, but it's all respect, man, and they make the game worth watching. And
right. But, like if I was to rank them all, I still say I would put Nadal third behind Federer and Djokovic. I mean, that's just my personal thing.
I wouldn't even get
when it comes to Clay, he got both of them beat. Clay, he Him on clay is like Aquaman in water. That's how dominant he is on clay.
You say he the clay Aquaman.
Pretty much.
All right, E man. Surprisingly enough, we're gonna kind of dig into the little stuff that happened in the football. When you showed me that recently, I was very interested and I laughed. And I want to know what's going to be the bottom of this whole situation because this judge before really came and brought it to the NFL. I don't know if it's her dislike for the actual higher ups or the GMs. But it was interesting to see the judge deny the NFL motion to toss the suit for John Gruden in the John Gruden case. Can this be the beginning of the end of Roger Goodell trying to do all the judging, the juror, and the executioner when it comes to laying down the laws in the NFL?
No, this ain't that. This is a special situation. The bottom line is Gruden's argument is that these things that were leaked out in emails have been sent to many an executive, many an owner that had been out there for years. Why at that particular moment was that information leaked? What were they trying to cover up that he did not want to be talked about in that moment? That is part of what the argument in the case will be. The other part is that he basically was excommunicated unfairly because of the emails. When there was people on the other end of them emails that answered back to those emails, and you don't see their responses at all. You see what he sent, you didn't see what they sent. And I promise you, there were many of people that he sent those emails to that approved that message. If you look at all the 4 major sports, I think if you was to put it to a vote, ain't no sport more racist than the NFL.
Absolutely.
That being said, now there are 2 groups that have minority owners, as in people of color, that are trying to purchase the Denver Broncos that is currently for sale. I highly doubt either one of those groups will be approved. And if they are, it's for one reason and one reason only. And you should not want that because from now on, people are going to be like, oh, Denver Broncos, that's the black team.
You know, too, like you were just saying, Dan Snyder had his hand in that. Even Adam Scheffler had his hand in that. And I was like, whoa, Scheffler. And some of the other
remember, people, John Gruden was connected to some of everybody in the league, from quarterbacks on up.
Yeah, because those
everywhere. And I promise you, some people like, yep, you right. He. As a matter of fact, blase, split, Monkey Coon filling the racist epithet.
Those were definitely 2 of the biggest names that was involved. And I said, well, damn, you know, why is everybody else named on a hush-hush, E? Because remember when that first came out, we was watching Monday Night Football. They named them 2 and didn't say anything about anybody else because we know Dan Snyder was already in the doghouse with the NFL. And speaking of, he into some more stuff going on right now. I think something else happened with him just recently, and now the owner's like, man, we ready to sell his shares, man, so we could get him up out of here and try to get a new owner. I think they're getting tired of his foolishness and some of the things that he's been involved in, and it's been putting a dark shadow on the owners in the NFL. And they like, man, this guy keeping this up, man, he got to go.
I mean, bottom line is, it's a few owners need to be on their way out, but Dan is definitely on the top of that list. I would say him. I really like to see the Knicks get a new owner. I want to see my Lions get a new owner because they bullshit. But you know, yeah, it's a lot in the NFL to be desired. I mean, granted, it's the big cash cow making all the big money and everything, but behind the scenes, there's some stuff that really need to be addressed that kind of gets swept under the rug.
Yeah, it's pathetic, man, to see a lot of this stuff happening still, too. But you know, like you said, NFL got the good old boys still in there. So things are not going to change until some of these older owners, man, who got like infinity dough until they leave. But then, you know, they're going to
some of their best friends, the Senators, speaking of the good old boy network, but, you know, not to go back there, but I really need y'all to watch TV sometime and look at the people that's in charge of the people in charge. And notice that they're a little long in the tooth, not to be an ageist or anything. But, yeah, term limits. Let's just think about that for a minute. Let me just sit there right there for you. Go ahead.
Yeah. what I want to talk about too is we've been talking about this for a while now, man, and we've been representing her to the fullest on our show. Brittany Griner, man, her wife basically reached out and urging Joe Biden to
Brittany
home.
Griner. This is again my weekly message. Free Brittany. Okay, go ahead.
We would have thought that Biden would have did something by now, man. And, I'm not really trying to throw him under the bus or call him out or anything, but man, this has gone too far for too long, man. And I am kind of calling him out now because there's only so much that he can do, and he needs to basically take care of business right now because that lady don't need to be over there, and definitely for this long. We thought that she would have been back at least for the damn season.
I mean, understand. If they took a poll in Russia, I think the majority of Russians would not want her detained at this point. She's a very popular person in Russia. That's why she is there. But I really think we should play this particular clip from her wife, Miss Sherelle Griner, and then kind of have this discussion because she makes some very key points in this thing. Check this out, y'all.
Hey, beautiful. I miss you. I just miss coming home and just seeing you in the house. Like, hearing you in the house. Like, I never know how much, like, that stuff matters or means to me. Like, until, I don't have it.
This is Sherelle Griner interview. Marker.
Sherelle, thank you so much for being with me today. I know you've got to relive this day so much, but for folks who don't really know what happened, can you take us back to February 17th?
I woke up, I want to say around like 5 a.m. I was in our home in Phoenix thinking I'm just going to wake up, get a message from BG. I landed in Russia, babe, but that was not the case. I had messages on my phone from BG, about 50 messages. Like it was just, babe, wake up, hello, wake up. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what are they saying? She's like, they're not saying anything. They just have me in this room. Like, they just can't grab you and not tell you something. And, she's there for hours and they don't say anything.
What was the last thing she said to you before she left for Russia?
It's the irony of all of it. She didn't want to go back. So she just said she was so exhausted from always having to go overseas. And we talked about it. And I was like, well, you know what, babe? Like, let's just make this your last year of season. I was like, you don't have to go back anymore. I was like, we'll figure something else out, when it comes to pay, because obviously there is a tremendous difference in the amount of money that she makes when she's playing WNBA versus when she goes overseas. And so that's why it's been something that like she had to do. If the WNBA paid BG what she makes overseas and treated her the way she's treated overseas, she wouldn't go.
How is she doing? How do you know?
Exactly. I don't truly know.
Yes.
I'm in a position of complete vulnerability right now. I have to trust people that I didn't even know until February the 17th. So I'm trusting, her lawyers to, tell me when they go see her, how is her spirit? How is her energy? But the truth of the matter is, because I haven't heard her voice myself, I don't 100% know. But I am being told that, she's doing okay.
A week after Brittany was detained, Russia invades Ukraine.
That almost killed me, actually. I was terrified what that meant. I thought that was it. I'm like, I'm really never going to see her again.
Is she being used as a political pawn?
Yes.
If it was LeBron or KD or Steph Curry, do you think that you would be sitting here today?
Respectfully and no shade to them when I say this, but the answer to that question would be no.
Have you spoken to the president?
I have not.
Not met with him?
No.
If you had the opportunity, Sherelle, today to say something to President Biden, what would you say?
If he is a person that can get my person back, I would love to meet him. I have requested a meeting with him. And so I hope he accepts in the near future, to meet with me.
What do you think, Hugh?
Man, valid points, man. If it was any of our big NBA stars, they wouldn't have been over there that long, and they wouldn't have dragged this process out that long, man. They would have did whatever they could and they will to get them out. I don't even think they'd have been in there for 2 days. And this is so long.
Maybe a week, solid. But it's two problems that come up there. First of all, the fact that since that time, there have been other Americans that have been detained in Russia, and deals have been made by our government with their government to release some of their people to free up their people. I know there are other people that's detained here that Russians would like to have back. I don't understand why, if you were willing to do it for that, why you're not willing to do that for Brittany Griner. And keep in mind, what she's accused of is less than a misdemeanor in most of the states here. It's not like, I mean, I understand if she had committed murder or, you know, robbery, something like that. This is over some things that she used to help calm her nerves. That's problem one. Problem two is, like her wife said, it's a shame that basically the second highest paid person in the WNBA, in order to make ends meet, still had to go play overseas.
Absolutely. I know that point was going to come up.
Understand that what she made in the WNBA and the whole season, she made in 1 month over at Russia. She basically makes $3 million playing in Russia as opposed to her 200-some thousand here. Make it make sense.
Doesn't make sense to me, man, because that's the sad part. When she said that, when I heard that part, I said, wow, man, she didn't even want to go to Russia. She was very exhausted with the fact Sherelle's telling her, man, you can even stay after this year, you know, and we'll figure it out, you know, how we can get the other money, because she was saying the money was way better, or much better, as far as her making it over there in Russia overseas versus her being here in these United States.
Right, because that's something that I didn't even know. You know, of course, I've been a proponent of WNBA, and I've been watching even closer now than in previous years. And what I actually found out last week is, you know, a lot of the better players in the WNBA are just now getting to their teams, because they still were overseas playing in playoffs across the world. So some of the teams that, you know, for as good as the Aces are in the WNBA, they still had two players that was overseas playing. So, you know, and of course you're going to do that when that team is paying you 10 times what you get paid in the WNBA. Yeah, the WNBA got to wait till I finish my season. I ain't mad at that.
Definitely ain't mad at that, because they're going to do what's best for them, and that's make money, man. Definitely when the WNBA is not paying you anything compared to what they're paying them. But we supposed to be in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, and you can't even pay our players and our athletes.
And like I said, well, it's not entertaining. It must be, because we've been looking at it this year. You see more news and sports outlets has been showing the WNBA. The WNBA app has gone up 25% since last year in terms of people installing it on their phone. Viewership for the WNBA has gone up over 20% this year. So when you tell me there's no market for it, I'm here to tell you, you put it in there, it'll grow.
What's crazy too was how good the playoffs was last year, man. I said I definitely will be watching more of the WNBA when I seen that playoff. It was just so good, and it was some great teams.
A lot better than some of this playoffs that we seeing lately, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, Lord, we're gonna get to that, man. I want to talk about two.
But yeah, prayers for Brittany. Somehow, some way, please let her come home. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You don't deserve to be over there that long, man. She should have been home trying to get ready to play.
She should be playing right now.
Absolutely.
And Lord knows the Mercury definitely need her. They got one of the worst records in the league now, and I do believe that's part of why.
I believe definitely because they could use Brittany, and at the same time, man, that's definitely not really fitting. It's not fitting well with them right now. You know, they miss their friend and their, their teammate, and that's probably frustrating to them too, man. We don't know how, just as much as her wife grieves, man, her friends and how much they're grieving, So yeah, it's sad, man. Not even just her team, but the people in the WNBA.
I mean, yeah, Brittany Griner is well liked throughout the league. Many people have said so. So there's that as well.
While we still on the topic of WNBA, you just mentioned the Las Vegas Aces, man, the historic night with the 18 threes. I guess they didn't really need your girl Liz Cambridge after all, because man, they put a slack.
Well, that being said, understand if they was going to vote for the most improved player today, Liz Cambridge is definitely that person. I mean, ever since they traded her, well, basically she went to the Sparks. She's been doing quite well for the Sparks. But on the other hand, they basically gave more of a role to Asia Wilson, former MVP in her own right, and she didn't flourish with it. It looked real. Like I said, you see what I posted the other day. Well, I already see the WNBA finals. It's going to be the Aces and ... They look that good to me.
You know what's crazy too, E? The fact is when you mention Liz Cambridge being one of the better players or most improved, she's been working on her game a lot, man. Because I know I've been seeing her a lot on Instagram, how she's been training. And she's been training pretty hard the last couple of years to really focus on her fundamentals, just her, intermediate game, and she just been really, man, she's flourishing, man, because her perimeter game is outstanding. But her taking her role serious and putting more pride into it, I think that I would like to see the Sparks go somewhere. But at the same time, I think the Las Vegas Aces made a lot of good things go on with that team, and yeah, I want to check out a lot more teams. Unfortunately, with the Mercury,
you want to check out Liz Cambage?
Yeah.
You know she got an OnlyFans.
Stop that, man.
You check out a lot more Liz. That's a lot of body on that girl. But anyway, yeah, she definitely is. All jokes aside, she has definitely improved not only her perimeter game but her outside game. She kind of reminds you of female Karl Malone at this point.
Yeah, because she's been really working hard on her game, man. And that's something that she knew. And that's what, we appreciate about athletes in general. And some we despise about it. Even though if you're a good player, man, you strive to be the best. You're not striving to be good. Like Shaquille O'Neal said, you're striving to be great. You want to be known as one of the greats, not just a good player.
Right.
And that's what she's working on. She's working on to try to be one of the WNBA greats and be a mentor with the top, tier players. And I appreciate that. Big ups to her for working on her game too, and just her fundamentals. And what else can I say, man? Just wish her well.
Right, because like I said, I really would like, since we know that the NBA is carrying the WNBA to a good extent, but I would like for them to be equal opportunists in everything. I want to see a women's G League. I want to see them have like good summer workouts. A lot of the NBA players, they get together, and we all know about the famous Drew League out there in California, and you know about the Rucker Park League and all that. I would like to see more of that from the women's game. You're starting to see them have their own Nike camps and everything. I want them to continue to grow and expand the game even more, because there's a lot of good players out there. I mean, you see that now when if you were a person that watched the first few years of the WNBA, it was much like how the college game is. It was the elite players and elite teams, and then the bad ones was really, really bad. It's starting to be a lot more equality in the league now as you watch all the different teams. There is no one team where you say, like, damn, they ain't got no business being here. A lot of them have at least 3 or 4 good players, and you say, okay, I see you. And another thing I'm liking is, even though we talk about the historic night with the Aces, that is an anomaly. Keep in mind, last year, the Aces were not known for being a three-point shooting team. That
not
is
at all.
The influence of their new head coach, which I'm very glad for Becky Hammond. She is doing a phenomenal job coaching the Aces so far this year. Would you agree?
Man, that was well deserved. Her finally getting a job. Like you said, man, I was a little disappointed. I wanted her to get something in to make history in the NBA, but at the same time,
it still could happen.
Yep. But what
that would be the ultimate history right there, to be the first coach to win a championship in the NBA and the WNBA.
Luke 2 jumped in the room. Hey, Ro, was good.
All right, Ro, to start him in the building. What's going on, Ro? Good to hear from you as always, my friend.
But yeah, you're right. Whittingham she still got a chance to be over there, but it was God sent for her to come to the Aces because how well they're playing, man. And you can tell they're well coached just because her coming over there and putting, her sprinkles on that team. So I definitely want to see her, at least if she can win a championship in the WNBA, I would like for her to her phone to be rung and her starting to finally get those calls in the NBA.
But like I said, if you don't watch any other team this year in the WNBA, definitely check out the Las Vegas Aces. We'll probably have a few highlights for y'all next week about that team. But between Kelsey Plum, the all-time leading scorer in college basketball, you got, of course, Asia Wilson, a champion from South Carolina, and then also you have Jackie Young, who played for not Stanford, for Notre Dame. And she is quite a player in her own right. Them three alone, but then like I said, they got good bench play. They strong defensively. It's a lot.
I want to touch on this briefly, E, man. We don't got to get into a really huge topic about it, man. But did my girls finally calm down, man? Did they finally get a chance to, breathe in and out, man? Because I know Skylar Diggs wasn't too happy, not so recently. Well, I want to know how all that.
I think it's a testament of the wills of those two individuals. I mean, it may even go back to the days of the Notre Dame UConn rivalry. That was a big rivalry in college basketball for many years when they all was in the same Big East. But I really think it boils down to Taurasi is the GOAT, and Skylar Diggins is the up and coming. But bottom line is the Phoenix Mercury is Diana's team. But, because Skylar Diggins is used to being the leader, that's where the clash comes into play. I mean, bottom line is when all is said and done and it's down to the last minute to go, you giving the ball to Diana. If you think anything different, you thinking wrong.
Pretty much. And that's what I think. I think she wanted to be that one person or be that it player, and it don't go down like that. Not on that team.
And I think the thing that would resolve that issue is the one thing that they need that they can't have right now, and that's Brittany Griner.
She definitely would have been the mediator between the two, and she would have basically calmed them two down.
Because keep in mind, she's played with both of them at some point. I do believe Skylar Diggins actually played on that Russian team with Brittany at one point. And I know Diana Taurasi played with her on the Russian team also. So that might have been the common denominator that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. E-Man, I want to kind of squeak over to something, man. We're going to talk about this.
You had another WNBA story. Let's go ahead and knock that out right quick.
Oh, man, I'm slipping. Oh, man, damn, man. Slap me for that one, E. Big ups to my homegirl, Candace Parker, man, being the oldest player to record a triple-double. I am so sorry about that, E. I want to give off.
You don't even understand the true significance of that, Hugh. Understand, we so used to triple-double and Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double for the whole season and pretty much every other game, somebody getting a triple-double in the NBA. That is a rarity in the WNBA, okay? There are only 12 people in the 26-year history of the WNBA to record a triple-double. Did you know that? Only 12. And out of those 12, only 3 people have done it more than once. Candace Parker being the latest one. We talking about the great Cheryl Swoops was one. We talking about that point on,
He said,
Now, actually, Candace Parker's teammate, Courtney Vandersloot, is the other person that had 2. But keyword 2. 2 triple doubles. That's it.
That's crazy too, because you'd have thought with the history in the 26 years it would have been more. But I believe we're going to see a lot more of that escalate, man, in the future. But yeah, man, Candace Parker has a really stellar career, man. And you could stamp that on top of it too.
I mean, you got her college championships at Tennessee. You got her gold medals. You got her winning championships for the Sparks and the Sky. You got her being an outstanding broadcaster on top of that. She got a very bright future after the game. I wouldn't be surprised if she got a Tom Brady type deal set up over there at TNT once she get done.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But
hey, yeah, they can. Hey, no disrespect, they can get rid of Kitty. I'd rather have Kansas than Kitty.
Hey, like I said, I have to be honest. When they go to players only route and they do the players only without Ernie, I kind of like that better than when they do the usual desk.
The players only be dope, man. When they do that, and I like when some of the old school dudes be on there with the new school guys, man.
Like
that's
we have Isaiah on there.
Yeah,
I know one week they had. That was one of the better ones I seen. I believe when it was Dwayne Wade and the glove was on there. That was an excellent guess.
Man, you ain't lying, man. I'm two alpha males, man. But
right, and I'm thinking about the future now. I can see it now. You basically gonna have your boy Shaq still in there. You're gonna have the magnanimous one himself, Mr. Barkley. You're gonna have that doggone Draymond Green, and you probably have Pat Bev in there somewhere. Them four alone, that could be something.
That'd be so controversial because Barkley already controversial. Then you have Draymond and you add Pat Bev with all the controversy he had this year,
right?
Especially when he talked about my man
Candace Parker in between. Absolutely,
that'd be a strong analyst table.
I agree. And hell, I wouldn't even be mad if they threw Diana Taurasi in there because she's pretty good at breaking down the game. You remember when they had her and Sue Bird do the kind of Peyton Manning and Eli Manning type thing.
They need to continue that, man. I think they should push to keep doing that.
I mean, Eli and Peyton most definitely should do it. I say at some point they basically had them once a year just do the broadcast period for Monday Night Football.
Man, I can't wait to college football come back on too, man, because you know Eli gonna be clowning, man. He already been showing some of the weird outfits, like he had the USC outfit he was wearing. But yeah, man, I think that's gonna be pretty interesting, man. I definitely can't wait to see that, and to him to have that and his brother to have the NFL. Man, we're gonna be in the
crazy part of it. When all is said and done, they still gonna keep it going because the oldest brother, the one who don't play football. It's his son that's one of the highest recruits in the country right now. So
ain't that crazy? Man, that's what you call family bloodline.
That's some football in your blood. Only thing I can think of close to that is the whole connection with The Rock and the Roman Reigns and the Usos and all that family.
The whole Samoan
that's a family tree of wrestling like no other.
Yeah, man, from Sika and all them dudes back then.
Rocky Johnson and all that. Then the grandma was a wrestling manager, and
because we remember like the Wild Samoans, then the Head Shrinkers and all those cats, man.
Right.
Yeah,
and remember they even got Rikishi. So related to
because I didn't know at first, man, because I was like, I know he a part of the family, and I ought to slap myself because he looked just like Fatu.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I wish we had Pride here right now. I know he'll be happy to hear this, man.
Like I said, I can't wait to see how they play this tomorrow. Now that they all got all the belts. Oh my God. I ain't think they're gonna let it go down like that.
They had to, man. They had to do that, man. Just for that in general, man. Then they got the kid. What's the brother? They got one of the kids too. That's at NXT. He'd be up.
Line, Hugh, if they set it up like this, they got something real big planned for either SummerSlam or the next WrestleMania. And I think it may be what people been hinting to online, that it might actually be Roman Reigns against his cousin, The Rock.
I definitely see that, man. I'm gonna have to show you the picture I saw too, man. They had a picture of him and The Rock, and Roman Reigns laying on the ground like on his stomach, and Rock got the 2 titles in his hand. It was Photoshop, but I definitely feel like I've been seeing that too often on one of the main wrestling pages I have on Instagram. So yeah, I think they definitely stirring something up to make that happen.
I said, if they set it up the right way, have them do that, and then the black I can't think of the name of that. The superhero movie, you know what I'm talking about, the one he's supposed to do.
Yeah,
all that come out around that same time. That's excellent timing.
Yeah, because I definitely want to see that, man.
Black Adam, there we go.
Black Adam, and I was saying to myself, man, because as much as superhero fans we are, man, we should have definitely known the Black Adam.
I kept wanting to say Black Ant-Man, but I knew that wasn't it. We getting old and we getting tired, y'all.
Man, you funny me.
But yeah, definitely shout out to Candace Parker. There is speculation that this might be her last season, that she's thinking about retiring. Keep in mind that she is all of 35. But if she does end the career, whether they win another one or not, she done had a good one. And they had Diana Taurasi about it, her being the oldest person, or the second oldest person in the WNBA behind her girl Sue Bird. And Diana like, nope, I'm trying to play till the wheels fall off.
I don't want to keep skipping or jumping back and forth, man, but it was something I definitely did forget about, man. The Colin Kaepernick training that he did a tryout, and I've been hearing so much buzz from the NFL, from all the different, pages, sport pages. I have CBS. They said he went down there and tore it up, man. I even had people already claiming he on the team saying,
okay, well, see, there was a very interesting conversation that was had by Skip and Shannon this morning. I kind of want to get into that discussion.
Okay.
But before we do that, let me take a quick commercial break just so we can get one in. I want to send a shout out to the peoples over there in Edition T. We are very thankful that you are part of the Nighthawk Network, and we just want to show you some love, give you some flowers right quick. So don't go nowhere, not even you, Hugh. We're going to run this and be right back.
Hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comfort together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Shout out to our peoples over there at Edition T down there in Georgia, where they have all become Atlanta Dream fans overnight, it seems. Y'all team looking pretty good, actually, considering all the big changes they made. I mean, new ownership, new coach, have new team. They 4-3 right now. They right there in the middle of the pack. I'm impressed with them. I mean, the rookie that they got as the number 1 pick, she is paying off big dividends.
Ooh, you seen her? She got off that one game, man. How much she had? Like 20 something.
Yeah,
oh my God!
Ryan Howell's her name, y'all. And like I said, if y'all want to check out some of the league, that's another good person to check out.
And it's so funny to me because every time I think of Ryan Howard, because when I first saw her name, I kind of looked like I'm thinking about the baseball player, the Ryan Howard. But she definitely made her impact fast, man. That girl, man, she's too much to handle. A lot of people didn't think she was gonna have that WNBA motor, but
yeah, like I said, I got to admit I was kind of wrong. But remember, I was saying I didn't see a lot of good quality people in this draft. Not only she's doing well, but
in this draft,
right, the number 3 pick, she's playing pretty good too over there. I believe she plays for I want to say Chicago. But yeah, she like I said, I saw her play the other night. I was very impressed with her also.
Your girl came off like Ja Morant.
She plays for the Mystics, as a matter of fact. She plays for the Mystics, and she's playing very well.
Yeah,
but
man.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, back to the Kaepernick thing. Now, okay, they kind of got into this whole discussion about, is Kaepernick there for simply a opportunity? Is it kind of a, okay, let's do the league a favor, or is this legitimate? And when they really got to breaking it down, this is a legitimate thing, Hugh. Remember where he is trying out. Las Vegas Raiders, formerly Oakland Raiders, with perhaps the most controversial owner of them all, one Al Davis. If you know the history of the Raiders, then you know they have been the everyman team for years now, where basically when other people have kind of ostracized certain people, they be the people to be like, you know what, we want that guy. Remember Randy Moss and how he ended up there? Remember filling a player, you know what I'm saying? The Bo Jacksons of the world.
Jerry Rice went over there at one point.
Jerry Rice was there when everybody thought he was all washed up. Remember where Beast Mode ended up for a time? His home.
He had to represent,
I mean, bottom line is, all right, hold on. We got a comment here. Cap is not getting on the team. I don't know, bro. Check this out. Now, the understanding was that before all this went on last year, there was a consideration for bringing him on for a tryout. And at that time, Al Davis Jr., the son, said, you have my full blessing as a staff. If you want to try him out, I have no problem with it. but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Now this year, remember, they have a new coach. That coach is Josh McDaniels. Now, if you are familiar with his history, you do know at one point in time, he was the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Now, you know, there was this experiment, if you want to call it, where he took a quarterback that nobody saw being a good quarterback and felt like under his system, the way he really wanted to run it, he could be great. That quarterback, of course, was the one and only magnanimous Tim Tebow. Of course, as you know, that didn't quite work out, but then, you know, over the years, they brought him in the Patriots camp a couple times, try him out and what have you. And now here's Josh McDaniels saying, okay, this is a person kind of like what I want, but he has more of the skills that I was looking for. Let's give him a try. Now, granted, Derek Carr, good quarterback, very good quarterback. And he has been told, look, this is your team. We did not bring Colin Kaepernick over here to take over for you. And I don't think they have. What they were pretty much making an argument for is, he would be a very good backup because you look at what's left over there with Mullins and a couple of the college kids they recruited. If Colin can't beat them out, then he don't deserve to be in the league. That was the thinking of Shannon Sharp. But then he said, you know, having missed 5 years, that's a lot of rust. Because he felt like that's part of why that didn't work in Jacksonville for Tim Tebow. One, changing over to tight end, but two, more importantly, because he hadn't played in so many years.
For all the years not being there.
Practicing a whole different skill set playing baseball. That being said, there was a team that wanted to give Colin Kaepernick a try for baseball too, by the way, where he also was pretty good. You know what team that is, don't you?
Nuh-uh.
The Yankees, baby.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, but nonetheless, my thinking is this. Josh McDaniels is thinking, yeah, I want Kaepernick, and I want to utilize him and the Wildcat and some specialty plays. I definitely could see that if Colin Kaepernick is on that close to that level. Remember, we're not talking about a scrub quarterback. We're talking about a quarterback, and 2 of the last 3 years he was in the league, went to the NFC Championship game and went to the Super Bowl and almost won that damn thing. We talking about somebody that has a record of 17-5, 15-7 as a start. 4-2 in the playoffs.
He not getting his flowers. Getting
the record for the most yards run by a quarterback in the playoffs in one game.
When people talk that crazy junk about how, oh man, he wasn't that good, because if he was that good and why he's not in the league, I'm like, I don't want to hear that, because you know that they blackballed this man and it's so much more behind the reason why he didn't play. They acting like I'm a fool.
Right. And then, of course, I was
You
saying,
can't pull that.
like, well, okay, if he wanted to play so bad, why he didn't go play in the USFL? I'm so glad he didn't do that. I'm so glad he didn't do that.
Thank God he did. Yeah, I wasn't comfortable with that league. And then when I first saw it, I couldn't stomach it.
I know you heard the latest story, right?
No.
Who was the number 1 drafted person in the USFL?
Number 1?
Yep. Michigan Panthers, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Patterson. Remember that dude?
Patterson. Yeah, Patterson.
Released today.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Released and replaced. You're not even good enough to be on the second worst team in the USFL. You're no good.
Time for him to start thinking about something else, man.
Time to start bagging groceries.
Cap has never stopped practicing football. He is not rusty. That's what Roll was saying.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are saying. I mean, bottom line, I watched that halftime throwing session he did at Michigan. He didn't look rusty to me. Remember, one of the things about Kaepernick, he had that rifle arm. He always did.
Yeah, he did. He had a cannon. Even back when he was in Nevada.
And he still does. Like I said, I'm looking at the rest of the league. Kaepernick better than any damn quarterback we got on the roster right now. That's including the starter. So if you tell me he ain't good enough to make this league with some of these quarterbacks I done seen, come on now.
All right, E, I want to get to this topic right here before we close it out, because I know we'll be closing out about time. the NBA come on tonight, and the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. I've been hearing
You said the Eastern Conference Finals?
that they said that it was like one of the worst playoffs in history. Do you agree with this?
You've been watching it, haven't you?
Yes.
You got two eyes, don't you? It don't even matter. Stevie Wonder can see these bad games, okay?
I've never seen
this is one of the worst conference finals
I've
ever seen.
And I've never thought the basketball to be this bad.
And remember, my basketball dates back some 30-some odd years since the early days of Magic and Bird. This is some of the worst conference finals ever.
How is it every game, E? Like, okay, we play in Miami. It's a blowout. They played Miami in the second game and Miami blowout. They go back home. They get blown out. They play the fourth game. They blow out, Miami. They go to Miami, blow Miami out. I just don't understand. It seems like every game that the teams, like somebody on one of the teams or both teams, just don't show up. And it's been
the one thing I'm not understanding, and they did bring this up today, another excellent point by Skip. In this day and age of 3-point shots and load management, why are so many of these people getting hurt in the playoffs?
I don't get that, E. And that's what I was thinking too. And I was talking to a lot of people, even put it on my page, and I'm going to even say it now. Right now, this game tonight with the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks, Golden State at home, if they close out this game, I feel bad for either Boston, or which it seems like it's going to be, or Miami.
I'm hard pressed to see them not do this. Understand, I honestly said this the other day, as upset as Steve Kerr was, and several of the team also felt like they shouldn't have been playing. I think that played into part of what happened Tuesday night with the Warriors. They wasn't completely focused on finishing it up. That being said, tonight it's going to happen. And I really resent the fact that one of the talking heads today said that part of why that was because they wanted to finish it up at home and make a little extra playoff money. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't really like that too much, man.
I don't even like the insinuation of that.
We already was upset, and we talked about it on several occasions, how we didn't like how all the flopping in the NBA, and what was going on in the playoffs. But a lot of the stuff seemed rigged, a lot of the calls. There was a lot of phantom calls in the league.
You gotta answer Rhodes' question, please. Why they keep taking 3-point shots when they don't need to?
This is the new NBA. Everybody
and
feel like they want to play and shoot threes. Golden State got the shooters to shoot threes. But everybody else now think that they can fit in that league or say, hey,
the Warriors are more dominant when they take it to the hole, especially against teams that don't have no rim protector.
I was just about to say that. Them guys don't really shoot a lot of threes as people think they do. Barkley mentioned it recently the other night, and it was funny to me. He said, you guys are fools if y'all thinking that that's all they do is shoot threes. He said they take it to the hole, they'll shoot a perimeter basket, but most times they really go into the rack. And if you try to stop them or if you try to clog up the lane, guess what? They're going to kill you from the three-point line.
But see, the problem is not even so much them taking the threes, it's where they're taking the threes. And we got one person to blame for that. That's that damn Steph Curry. Because he showed people you ain't got to be super strong or super tall to make this 40-footer. And you can do it consistently. And since he's been doing it, not everybody think they can do it. Again, as we pointed out a few weeks ago, it's only 3 or 4 people in the league got that type of range for real. Curry, Klay Thompson, Dame Dollar, and Trae Young. Anybody else, stop doing that shit.
And people have to be a fool if they don't think that Steph Curry don't practice that on the regular.
And they show you his practice. People ain't putting in that type of work.
They just thinking all of a sudden they could just get up and shoot
Well, you
half
about
court.
somebody that's shooting 1,000 threes a day for practice before practice even start, and then do the regular practice. Steph didn't just come into this thing. I understand he was born Dale Curry Jr., but that don't necessarily mean that he was automatically gonna come in shooting threes.
E-Man,
If
I
that's
think
the
people
case,
don't really.
his brother Seth will be just as good as he.
I don't think people give Luka his respect. Yeah, I feel like I wanted them to get swept. I ain't gonna lie, but at the same time, what I felt like when I knew that this series was coming to a closure, that game that I thought they were going to win when they were up by like 20 something point. I think it was a 25-point deficit they had Golden State in, and they caught back up, and I think won by 9. It was like 100 to 109. That's when I was like, people got to start respecting their excellence, man, and their greatness, how good Clay and all those guys are, man. And one thing that you was telling me, and I started paying more attention to, that game at one point, they were down only 14 after being down by so much. And I think they were only down at 11, and Luka shot a 3 and started shimmying. And I hit Pride up on Facebook. I said, Pride, man, they shouldn't be celebrating like that right now, man. And, you know,
And what do
Luka.
I always tell you about the Warriors, and anybody that's a fan of the Warriors or paid the Warriors attention this last decade, particularly since Steve Kerr took over, the third quarter, they dominate. They are the best at making adjustments at halftime and coming out in the third quarter and blitzing that ass. Next thing you know, that 9-point lead, you was down 21, and everybody else gets to play. That is part of why they are doing so well, because they had several games like that this year. And that allowed them to play a lot of the bench players, so they didn't got quality bench time. And then you got to remember, for as good as they are right now, they are missing GP3. They are missing Iguodala. We know Wiseman's out for the year. Imagine if them three was playing 2 right now.
Got to be and GP3 was playing some of the best ball he ever played, man. He's a great defender.
I really hope that he is able to play in these finals. They do say it's
hope, man, because when you see his defense sometimes, you be like, damn, man, you know, he kind of remind you of his dad. I don't think he's as great as his dad, but he kind of give you some idea or impression of why, you know, he's his son. And then his, man, we ain't going to talk about
next level, because GP3 wasn't that athletic. He wasn't dunking on folks like that and knocking shots out the end. It's the next level that he is. And like I said, I honestly think Iguodala, he just out resting. I think he'll be fully ready when the finals get here, because he's going to have some work to do.
Big up to GP3 too, man, because for not giving up, man. He's been in the G League in and out of the Golden State lineup, and when they finally gave him the actual opportunity, man, he stepped up, man. And for him to be on the NBA roster right now is really impressive, because I remember at one point when I was looking and I was seeing the struggle for him to stay in the NBA, and I said, damn, man, this Gary Payton's son, I hope he could make it, because he was having difficulties at first. And Golden State was
that's why I say the G League. That's where the G League becomes so important. Some of the better players we done seen that came out of the G League. You know what I'm saying? It's not just him. Remember, Jordan Poole spent quite a bit of time in the G League them first couple of years. And you see how good he look right now. Hell, Avery Johnson, remember that dude? Playing all overseas, played in the D League and all that.
Even Giannis had struggles at first. And when he went to the G League, he really stepped his game up.
Right. I mean, I even go to our Pistons. Jeremy Grant, he spent quite a bit of time in the G League before he finally started playing for Portland and then came here. That's why I say it's important for the women's league to have a G League as well.
To help develop a lot of those girls who might not be able to fit or fill in the WNBA roster right now, because you know a lot of them rosters be stacked, and that'll give them a chance to go to like a female G League and develop their talent and come up to the pros. Like if somebody get injured,
right. It serves a secondary purpose, because you put them teams in places where they're not traditionally teams at, and they get a nice turnout or whatnot. Those teams you could then make expansion teams.
I would like for them to expand the teams too in the WNBA. We talked about that too.
I mean, when we think about some of the college hotspots for women's basketball, I definitely want to see them have a team in Tennessee. Definitely can make out with another team somewhere around Sacramento, Stanford area, somewhere in there. You definitely want to see them have one down there in Louisiana. Them LSU games was off the hook this year.
I know my those in New
right,
Orleans.
like I said, we could throw another team back in San Antonio area, perhaps somewhere around where Baylor's located. Baylor now a hotbed for women's basketball, so you know the opportunity is there.
They definitely got a lot they can play on too.
Yeah, but no, I mean the Eastern Conference stuff aside, at this point, I'm looking at Golden State, and it's theirs to lose right now.
Yeah, because
bottom line is, yeah, they got their work cut out for them, shutting down Brown and Tatum. Since I'm thinking Boston more likely gonna win. But that being said, they got they work cut out for them because yeah, they got some good defenders in Boston, obviously, but they got so much to defend. You're not gonna shut down everybody on that team every night. If you shut down Steph, Clay get off. You shut down Clay, Poole get off. You shut down Poole. Hell, Draymond Green might fuck around and get 20 and 10. He's still capable. Just because he don't look the score don't mean he can't.
And at the same time,
coming off the bench, and you got Porter Jr. looking good over there.
It's too much injuries too right now with Boston. That's a big concern because a lot of those guys are in and out of the lineup. Like I was hearing the next game that they're trying to go all in and get Robert Williams to play and have Smart play. But every time I've noticed, every time those two guys didn't play, man, they were losing because that's taking a significant chunk out of their actual team and their chemistry.
And of course, right on schedule, he is. What up, Pride? They got to start generation of profit before expanding, in my opinion, in regards to the WNBA. But I wish them well. And like I said, that is possible. Understand, they are making more money now than they did in year one. Again, me and he was talking about this the other day. You got WNBA being broadcasted on CBS Sports, on ESPN, on ABC, and a few other networks. What up, though, Pride? But yeah, like I said, they are making more money. They're not making the money that the NBA is. Like I said, since they have been committed to keeping the league going, I feel the NBA needs to have a stronger input into what's going on. I mean, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, if he was still alive, he had major plans to promote the WNBA, primarily because he felt like at some point his daughter was going to be in.
He was definitely trying to span and open that door.
Right, and like I said, I definitely like that you're starting to see a lot more NBA players at the games. You're starting to see more celebrities at the WNBA games, for that matter.
It was just a moment of time. Now they're going to start getting their flowers, getting their credit where credit's due, because you have to be a fool now to appreciate their game and appreciate how they're playing. Because when I looked at that playoffs, because you said, Hugh, you need to check out the WNBA and check out some of the basketball over there and see what's going on. And that's when I looked up and I seen the playoffs, man, and it was something I never seen before because those ladies bust their ass, they worked hard, and it was very intense. So, yeah, to see that, and then for me to go over, because I was telling you before, I watched college basketball at one point at the time when I told you Tennessee was on top of things, and I just stopped watching it for a second. You know, I was prioritizing on other things. And when I gave it a look again, man, it was so many dominant chicks over there, man. It was very exciting to see this season and see what happened all the way to the championship. So, yeah, man, it's like they getting a lot of exposure, man. And I'm hoping that WNBA gets more exposure and to get more appreciation, because I feel like, man, somebody said that, man. It was a player, I forgot who he was, but he said when you look at the WNBA, you'll look at it, and when you see it for the first time, you'll fall in love every time you see it.
Because one of the things I definitely have liked about it, because, you know, I got the package, so I watch the games. I mean, I like how the WNBA package has it set up to where either you could watch the whole game without the commercials, man, or you could watch a condensed version of the game. Like little 10-minute versions of the game. And I think you could actually find some of those on YouTube. And I definitely like that because you just kind of get all the good plays and, and so on and so forth. But they still talk enough about what's going on in the game where you get a feel for how that game went.
Hey, E, man, you going to chime in and watch the verses tonight?
Oh, you talk about the Southern verses?
Yeah, that don't look like
I kind of like that one. I kind of like that one.
Because A-Ball, MJG, my boys, but I'm a little old school though, man. We were around when UGK was out, then 8-Ball and JG came out, man. So yeah, I would definitely chime in, look at that for a minute.
The only problem is, the great one himself is no longer with us, Young Pimp C, so it kind of take away from it a little bit.
You ain't lying, man. Because
that being said, I do love that dude, Bun B.
Oh yeah,
I feel like Bun B is the Southern version of my dude Method Man. It's something about when he rap, you just be like, yeah, I like how that sounds.
Well, E, man, that's really all the topics I had today, man. We're gonna give people.
I do got one more I want to throw in right quick. Now, yep, you already know. I got a pocket full of stones. Hip hop head that Pride. We didn't hit all your spots today, sir. We talk basketball, wrestling, and hip hop. You should be good to go today. But oh yeah, shout out to my dude Hassan. I see you in the room, baby. But I'm picking ugly. Says Rose. I'm picking ugly. Okay, but yeah, there is another great sports topic or two I want to throw in. One, the fact that we are seeing one of the more dominant seasons in the history of college softball, unbeknownst to most of y'all who don't watch. But that team in Oklahoma, the team who has the whole season and have only lost 2 games, have pitched over 10 no-hitters, mind you. Over 10 by themselves. A team that basically, if there was a draft for the women's softball league, most of that team would be in it. I'm talking about several Hall of Fame future, several All-Americans now on that Oklahoma team. Look out for them. The College World Series coming up soon. That team is awesome. I'm talking about you will see them play. They play some of the best teams in the league in all of America, and they are dominating them.
What's crazy about them too, man, is we always knew they were a good team, but I didn't know they were that dominant at this level. Most of the Southern schools you're going to see, they're going to clown and they're going to have a good record. Like you said, like the LSUs and Alabama.
Florida State got a good team this year. Oklahoma State always keep a decent team softball-wise, but I'm telling you, if you want to watch a little softball, it's going to be on ESPN these next couple of weeks. Definitely check them out. I just woke up, but got me a new gig starting next week at DHL and got a cool schedule. So maybe I can finally get this podcast in. Right on. We here. We waiting, bro.
Yeah, man. I definitely volunteer if you need me for a host, man. Just hit me up on Messenger. I got your back.
Same here. You already know what it is. And like I said, I still say you can do it by yourself. Some of these comments that you make, they need to be heard on the air. I definitely want to hear you explain some of these things. I know when we talk about them, you have some very, very thought-provoking thoughts on them. So I think you need to share that with the world, my friend. I really do.
He's definitely a podcaster.
Yeah, and then, of course, the other story I wanted to bring up right quick before we left you, Tiger Woods, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't really think y'all understand what that man is going through just to make it, to be able to play some of these tournaments. Okay, think about it. For all intents and purposes, your leg is gone. His leg is basically skin, half bone, half steel. You wake up in pain every single day. I can relate to some of this because that's at one point how my life was, being in constant everyday pain. So I can only imagine his is times 4. and then you get up and somehow find the strength to get up, walk around, exercise, keep the rest of your body in phenomenal shape, and then find it within yourself to say, I'm going to walk and play not only these 64 holes of golf or 68 holes of golf, but the practice rounds and everything else. And no, he's not able to do it every week or every other week. But remember, in his heyday, Tiger Woods did not play every tournament. But that being said, just to find the stones to say, I'm going to play. And me being Tiger Woods, if I'm playing, I'm going to win. And the fact that he even attempts it, and still, as bad and jacked up as he is, to where he could barely walk, he's still better than 90% of anybody that's picking up a golf club right now. How can you not respect that? Oh, okay, I'm gonna get to that in a minute, Pride. But yeah, just your thoughts on that, Hugh, before I go to where Pride going.
Man, yeah, he a warrior, man. Because I know if I had went through what I went through, if I was him, like with having a whole leg being shattered and trying to rehabilitate yourself and keep yourself in good shape into playing and trying to play still at a high level to the point to where you can make these PGA tours and tournaments, man, that's impressive. I know
And
that
keep in mind, he does have the option, has been offered the option. You do not have to walk around these courses. We will give you the exemption, much like we gave John Daly, and you can take the golf cart and ride around. He refused to do it that way.
Yeah, he want to do it the regular way or don't do it at all. He don't want no special.
And remember, this man is worth damn near $1 billion even after the divorce. He ain't got to play not another hole of golf. You got tournaments right now that will just pay him just to be there and sign autographs and pay him some good money to do that. But he refuses.
I don't think that man gonna give up till he on the top again. At least win one more Sunday. Tiger ain't J.R.
Smith. For people that know that whole story with J.R. Smith, that is very funny. But let me go back to what you said here. Not want to hold y'all up, but are you aware of the WWE versus Naomi? Yeah, I did actually, because, rarely do I get to watch Monday Night Raw for whatever reason. But it just so happened that I was tuning in that night when they basically said, you know what? We through fucking with y'all. And after they matched, they took the championship belts and said, here you go, we good. Now, I don't know all that played into that, but when I heard that and then they explained it a little bit further on Friday Night SmackDown, I was like, what racial overtone has come into play here? That was what I was wondering. I said,
they already had Dr. Banks in a hot seat too, man. A lot of times I've been hearing she's been getting a lot of heat backstage. I know it was like a lot of that going on too.
Because keep in mind, you do realize with Naomi owning part of the tag team championship and her actual real life husband now owning all the gold and the tag team championship on the other side, I wonder if some of that came into play. Keep in mind, some people, they do not like the fact that people of color own pretty much every belt in the WWE right now.
Lord knows they didn't like when your boys had it like that too. What was they called? MVP crew.
Right.
They didn't like that, man. When Lashley and all those boys had gold too. That wasn't none of their.
But see, then I think part of it comes into what comes into play with the whole sales and whatnot. It's a lot of people walking around with them Bloodline t-shirts, y'all. It's selling.
Yeah.
The whole storyline is selling like hotcakes.
I wanted Roman to turn heel too, man, because I felt like at first when they was trying to spoon feed him to us when he was with the Shield, and they thought that he was going to get the title immediately because of his background and who he was.
That's what it was, Pride. You see that? That was the name of that. Right.
MVP always be making some weird ass names, man. Remember it because he had a crew of people at TNA as well called the Beatdown Posse.
See?
What's up with these weird names, man?
See? There it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love Roman Reigns as a heel, man. That really took him to a new level. You hate to love that dude.
I mean, bottom line is for some of the things that I don't like Vince McMahon for, you got to give him credit. That dude is a salesperson. He took the
Yeah.
WWE and then ran with it. Like I said, it's right up there with football right now in terms of popularity and money making and the like.
Yeah, he did it his way too, man. You know, a lot of them guys didn't like after Vince McMahon Sr. what he did when he gave his company to, Vince and told the
Right. I
other
mean, one of
guys.
the smartest things he has done is come back to network television with SmackDown and basically offer WWE for free with Peacock. I felt like that's brilliant.
He a smart man too, and he getting a pretty nice chunk on Peacock, man. That they paid him a
Absolutely.
lot just on their network.
Absolutely. But yeah, that being said, we're not going to hold y'all up no further. I know y'all want to check out this last, I guess we're going to call it a playoff game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's close tonight. But that being said, this thing over. We know it.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely looking for this this game right here to end it all. So yeah, I was gonna chime in myself to see what goes on because they do like the 15-minute pregame and all that crap. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, get ready, and check it out, see what's gonna happen.
Right. And then there's one more thing we did forget, Hugh. The fact that now there is a MVP for the
Yeah,
conference
oh
final.
yeah, man. How do we forget that? That's huge, man. To have that in I'm sorry, E.
No, like I said, no, go ahead.
Yeah, that's huge, man. When I heard that, E, I said, damn, man, that's really good because I was watching that whole dynasty rise of the Los Angeles Lakers on HBO, which is a pretty good series, man. But
Yes.
it was funny how Bird hated Magic and vice versa. They always wanted to compete against each other to being really close friends. And to hear Bird go on air and hear them say, we're going to have the Eastern Conference MVP name. The trophy is going to be the Larry Bird Trophy, and the Western Conference final trophy is going to be the Magic Johnson Trophy. And he said, how do you feel about that? And yeah, they were pretty excited to hear that, man. It's good because I think ain't like the finals MVP, like get the Bill Russell reward.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty good now. They're paying homage and giving more credit to the
Right.
players,
Right.
especially the
And how
old.
like the humanitarian award is named after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the All-Star trophies, the Kobe Bryant trophy. I like all those moves that they make.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's classy. E. That's what we
Yeah,
should say. Classy that they're doing that.
I agree.
NFL need to take heed to that themselves.
Right. Well, keep in mind, another thing we didn't touch on, and I want to keep adding on to the show, is the fact that they're considering getting rid of the Pro Bowl. Please do.
Please do, because that's the worst thing y'all could possibly put on TV, man. You can't make me watch that. And we know, and it
Right.
sucks, man, because we be anxious to see some type of football before the Super Bowl. But yeah, you ain't gonna sit up and make me watch that.
I think I'd rather watch them play damn Madden than watch them play their Pro Bowl.
Hey, yep, I agree.
And that's another story for another day, too. But anyway, we about to get out of here, y'all. Thanks for always tuning in. We definitely want to shout out Pride and, of course, bro, for always being a part of the show. I want to send a shout out to Coach Wheel and Coach Vincent that joined me the other night from a show. Basically, that was not my intentions, but it all kind of worked out. And it was good to have some other people in the room to talk about it because I was pretty fired up. I'm still kind of fired up about the whole Texas thing. But, yeah, shout out to them guys for coming through and giving their comments as well. But any last words before we head out, bro?
You know what, man? I ain't even gonna talk to him about it no more. You know. If you don't, you don't, man. Stay tuned, and we'll hear from y'all next week.
Again, Pure to the Game. Check it out. Y'all want to preview what we're probably gonna talk about next week? More than likely, you're gonna find it there. So by all means, check him out. And of course, don't forget Sunday we will have another episode of the Big Buck Sports Report. We'll talk about that a little more. We'll probably be talking about the preview for the NBA Finals. and who might possibly win over there at Roland Garros. I believe the finals will be that Sunday, so we'll have a new French Open champion. We might get into that a little bit, and anything else that happens between now and then. Until then, y'all be blessed, and by all means be safe, and talk to the kids, y'all. Talk to your kids, because you never know when. Well, y'all know what I'm saying. We'll leave it at that. All right, y'all. We up out of here. Throw them up, Hugh. Gametime Audible is a Nighthawk Network.